Hi, I'm Bob Sambol from Bob's Steak and Chop House, and today's rare conversation is with David Campisi. Usually these are about restaurants, but this might be a lesson in Italian-American history in the Southwest United States about you and your family. Well, so thanks for doing this. I know we're going to start in 1907 is when your family came over?
Yes. Yeah, you know, Bob, to this day, we still say we really live in the American dream, really are. When you look back in history, my great-grandfather came here in 1907 through the port of New Orleans, worked in the mills, worked in Lufkin, migrated to Texas, got a telegram in, I believe, around 1917, and the American dream really started. He got a telegram for $800, bought a grocery store, bought several grocery stores, kind of climbed his way up, and we really introduced pizzas in 1946 on the corner of McKinney and Knox, right where they're selling right now. Too bad we didn't buy the real estate back then. But we've been an iconic brand for going on 80 years, and we're just so blessed and humbled to be able to do what we do.
Yeah, iconic brand it's just not even saying enough about it. When you think of restaurants in Dallas, Texas, you think of the ones that have been here for such a long time, Dunstan's, Campisi's, Javier's, and we're the little kid at Bob's. We're only been around 31 years.
Yeah.
You're synonymous with Italian food and red sauce and pizza, and so here you are. This is the original location here on Mockingbird, and the question everybody asks is, why is it called the Egyptian?
Well, it's 1946, we were down at the Idle Hour where we introduced pizzas, and we outgrew that spot, so we were looking for a larger kitchen to sell these pizza pies, and we found this location, and everything was successful. The only problem is we ran out of money, and it was called the Egyptian Lounge, and over the time we just added Campisi's, so it was just kind of an accident.
Yeah, good accident.
Yeah, absolutely. But as our brand is expanded through all these communities, we are bringing back the iconic Egyptian logo and whatnot with our brand.
That's good. That's great. So, you call it pizza pie, which really is an old saying. No one calls it pizza pie anymore. So was the original menu pizza and pasta? What was the original menu?
Yeah, the original was at the Idle Hour. It was just... it was kind of a beer joint back then. It had beer and wine, and then just small little individual pizzas. After World War II, we were getting intel that they were introducing this pizza pie in New York, and that's kind of what we copied. But what we did, we used my grandmother's original bread recipe that we still use today, and our here in the South, they call it marinara sauce. We call it marinara sauce, but that's our pizza sauce. So our marinara sauce was really derived into our pizza sauce.
Okay, so your great-grandfather, Carlo, started this business, and was your dad and grandfather involved?
Just my grandfather and his brother, they were behind his father. Joe, my grandfather, and his brother Sam, they started expanding the grocery store business, and they came over here and they all worked here. But look, we don't, people always are real inquisitive about our family, and I use the word family with love, but also as mysteriously. So probably like you, Bob, when we have so many loyal family members, we use the term family members. Maybe like Disney, they don't call their folks employees, they call them cast members. So we really have a family atmosphere here with a lot of passion and with a lot of love. So how can I sit here and say that I own this place when I've got people who have worked with me for 40 years, 30 years? So it really is a true family affair around here. Yeah. Now, with that being said, having family and working with family, it's not always great.
No, it's not. It's not.
But we have a great time.
So let's go back to young David Campisi. When did young David Campisi decide he wanted to go into the restaurant business?
Well,
I'm sure you had a lot of other options.
Being raised by my grandfather, who raised me as his son, he instilled hospitality since the day I was born. He was dragging me around, making me introduce myself to people since I was a baby. So I always had more of a discernment and hospitality embedded in me. I don't know anything else, and I just feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But being raised down here, my grandfather was always insisted on me working in the back of the house, and I always wanted to be out in the front of the house. So for years, since I always joke and say I was conceived in booth 2, so I've been hanging around this place for a long time, but grew up, in a family atmosphere, working in the kitchen, learning all the staples of the business. So doing that, then studying hospitality in college. My dream was, when I was a kid, I used to draw stick figures on bicycles and have them delivering pizzas, and I'm just really living my dream.
Where'd you go to college?
Texas Tech.
Okay, and you had studied hospitality there.
Yeah, I have a degree in hotel, restaurant, institutional management, but the funny thing was, back to what you do and I do, it's all about relationships.
Right.
So, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the best student, so I was in there to build relationships. My professors, and as they got to know me with my humor and whatnot, they would joke with me after college saying, man, when David went to Tech, this kid couldn't even boil water. So had a great mentorship there with the academia world with hospitality. So kind of have it from both sides.
Yeah. So what year was it when you first started to get involved with your restaurant, with Campisi's?
Well, I mean, Bob, I say a family affair. I've been working here since I was born, but I remember in high school, I was always playing sports, but even in high school, I'd have the keys. I'd have to come down here and open up the restaurant. So I was always involved, and I thought I was an owner of this place, as some of the cooks that worked here for so many years. So I learned early on what more of an empowerment environment would be. So early on, I walked around this place like I owned it, but in reality, it was just leadership qualities that I was learning as a young child. But in Italian, there's an old phrase, "Il occhio batruni e grosso ca," the eyes of the boss will fatten the horse. So I've always had eyes of ownership.
Yeah.
But just working here my entire life. In graduating school in '92 is when we started expanding Campisi's into the 9 units we have today. So '93 we really started developing our satellite stores, and in 1993 I had $10,000 to my name, and I borrowed $20,000 from my family, and J.R. Black was my first landlord, and he gave me $20,000. So what was that, 20, 40? I started with 50 grand, put it all on the line, paid my family back within a couple months, and just started making a ton of money and saved every penny and just opened up another one.
Wow.
Rolled that one, knowing what I know now, I'd have never done what I did.
Yeah, you're stuck with the one. Yeah, I mean, you started doing that when we opened Bob's in '93, and I know exactly what you're talking about. So here we are in 1993, and you're deciding to expand the concept, the family concept. And so what's the biggest difference then to now? Because you're still got these multiple units, and you had a challenge there to try to expand. What's the biggest, I can tell you what I think in my steak business, what the difference is. What's the biggest difference now that you see in your business?
Well, I always go back to, and you and I have discussed this a lot, but I call it the human capital. It's just finding the right people that mesh with your brand. But again, this is so special. It's the people that we're hiring, but our model's changed somewhat of more delivery service or whatnot. So with that, I would say the people. But the other part is we've had some growing pains early on. We were standardizing recipes and trying to keep things consistent. And what we realized over the years is we went back to our original recipes that are small batch, and we have, a not executive chef. We have each location has a chef on premise, so our food quality is just a lot fresher and small batched.
You know, the opinion of, I grew up in New York and New Jersey, where you went to local Italian restaurants and local Italian pizza places. You wouldn't think of buying pizza from a chain. I mean, you went to We went to the same pizza place, the same Italian restaurant, because they took good care of us and they had great food. And the owner was the chef, and he had all kinds of, he had a white T-shirt on with flour all over it. I mean, you know, he's just big fat guy, you know, and you knew the food was good.
Sure.
The Italian American restaurant in the United States has changed, especially in the pizza business. So how does Campisi's, when you think about all the pizza, and I know you're at home watching TV and every other commercial is a pizza commercial. When you see those, what do you think? What do you think about?
Well, you know, I always say pizzas and hamburgers, everyone has their favorite, you know. Do I have the best pizzas? I think so, and obviously we've been through the test of time. When you have a business that's 80 years, it kind of speaks for itself. But look, we're not trying to be anything else but what we are. We're an oblong-shaped, hearth-baked pizza, so we're not trying to be anything else of that. So is there a lot of competition? Absolutely. It doesn't, you and I talk about competition, it doesn't bother us. I mean, just, you need to be on your game.
Yeah.
So it's just, we are a neighborhood Italian joint that we've scaled through this Metroplex, and we're just sticking to the pillars that's worked for all these times. It's steps of service, our quality of our food, name recognition, making sure the experience is what it needs to be. So it's blocking and tackling, and we just need to keep sticking to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard work. It's hard, and you got to get people who same vision you have. So, a lot of items on the menu. You have pizza, obviously the pizza. What's the one or two items that just have withstood the test of time? We haven't changed one single bit. You know, I know you haven't changed. You haven't changed the pizza much over these years.
Not at all. No, we don't really change much. We use the finest ingredients that we possibly can get. I mean, our birds. We know it's a small chicken. We know there's no additives in it. We know exactly where it comes from. We buy fresh pork. People ask us, why don't we carry spumoni? Why don't you carry ice cream? I'm like, we don't have any freezers. We just have one door freezer in each location. So we just kind of, if it ain't broken, we just stay with it. But you know, our meatballs, it's the same meatball recipe that we've used for 100 years. And we're old school. They're still used in an ice cream scoop in the. Yeah. So we're a red sauce Italian neighborhood joint.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you talk about Campisi's, you talk about and my restaurant and the restaurants that have been around. It's about customer loyalty, and you've certainly built that. But one of the things that when I told people that I was coming to talk to you, and you and I have become friends recently. And we both come from families that were in the business, and we join. So we have a lot of similarities. Plus, we think alike,
right?
Because we're kind of old school, and we, when times of stress, we go back to the old school ways because they work for us. But when I told people I was coming to talk to you, they said you got to talk to him about the mafia. And it was his family in the mafia. Was his father a gangster? Did Jack Ruby? Did his father know that Jack Ruby was killing Oswald? So I gotta ask you about all this. So tell me how you navigate through that whole aura of the Campisi family.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if say lucky or not, but you know, I wasn't born, so I don't, I'm just the messenger, right? So, but you can imagine over the years, and you growing up in the East Coast, especially in the South, when your name ends in a vowel, it just had a little different flair to it. So I've been raised with the rumors, the truth, the non-truth, navigating through people's stories. You know, God bless everybody, but just to let everybody know, we don't have a basement underneath Campisi's, okay? You know how many stories I get? They're like, man, your grandfather used to play cards with my grandfather, and your grandfather beat his brains in the basement in the underground casino at Mockingbird. And I go, oh, yeah. Well, there is none. So a lot of myths, a lot of stories. I don't know, like if your last name isn't a vowel, you're just held to a different standard, right? So with that being said, Jack Ruby was a patron back in that day when he had the Carousel Bar. They were friendly with my grandfather. My grandfather would go to his places, and he did dine here the eve of when he did shoot Oswald. And my grandfather and grandmother were one of the first people to go to the county jail to visit him.
Wow.
Yeah. So, again, you know, President Trump's released all this information.
Yeah.
Well, where are we at with it? I don't know. But, you know, the Warren Commission back in the day, I remember the feds coming to our house interviewing my grandfather, and we sat in the den when they had this interview. But he never had to testify in Washington and whatnot. So the other joke was, they like my grandfather Joe, they would say, man, there's no way Joe could be in the mob because he talked too much. They would have killed him years ago. So anyway, it lightheartedly with that. But again, when you have a business and you do have a brand, not say for years we just kept it quiet, but it's informational, it is history. So we just, not to say we play off of it, it really is who we are. So we just kind of share some of the stories and whatnot.
You know, it's a long time coming, and I know you have kids. Do they have any interest in following you in your footsteps?
Yeah, I would hope so.
I think your son does.
Yeah, Joe's got that hospitable in him, but you know, they're young, so we want to, same thing, my grandfather, mother, we want them to be educated as far as they want, to give them the resources. And I don't want to, I didn't have a gun in my head to be in the restaurant business, nor I want to do that to my children. But obviously there's a succession for this business that we have created. You know, we are thinking about different bylaws and whatnot. So, you know, when you get to this fourth generation of a family business, the successors of that, it's hard to get through third and fourth generations just with absent-minded operators. Some operators in family that think they're operators but really don't know how to boil water, you know. Yeah. So I've got to set that up. But I would love one day to pass this on to the next generation. Absolutely. You know, kind of our mindset was whatever we got, we left. You know, whatever we have, just leave it better than we have. And we've got over 300 family members that work with us today. So. Wow. Is it really about the succession of just my family? Not really. Yeah. It's really the succession of all these people that have worked with us for years. So that's my, when we talk about the sensitivity of hospitality, it's not just about me. It's about these family members that we've grown with, and the loyalty. That's the uncertainty where we are today. I just want to make sure, because I've always said, when you worked with Campisi's, no, in the history of Campisi's, no one's ever made less money than they ever made the year before, ever. Wow. Well, I got a tough year coming ahead of me.
Well, you and I talk about how tough it is nowadays, and there's new players in the game, and I think I reminded you of this, and I'm gonna say it to you again. Jack Nicklaus, the great golfer, was asked how he won so many tournaments, and he told the guy, "Well, I only had to beat half the guys." He said, "What do you mean?" The other half beat themselves. Right. So I think that all these guys coming into our business, we only have to worry about maybe half of them. The other half are going to beat themselves. They're going to do something stupid. They don't have the passion you have. Right. They don't have the legacy that you're dealing with, where the recipes are tried and true, and you know they taste good. So you know, I know I caution you not to worry as much, because Campisi's is synonymous with Dallas dining, and it's always going to be here. But is the future more restaurants for you? Because I see you're in the airport now, and how do you feel about that? You done with that, or you want to do more?
No, we're still open. I mean, we're looking all the time. We need to probably relocate 2 of our locations, so I'm still in the game. I'm a young 56, if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's the bread and butter. Luckily, our family has diversified in some other ways, some real estate and whatnot. But look, we're just true restaurateurs. That's all I know. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking. We're looking all. I mean, it's right now. It's just so tough. But yeah, we need. I need another triple or home run out there, and life would be good. So yeah, we're definitely expanding.
Well, listen, you and I have gotten to know each other very well. I love talking with you. You have passion. You get me inspired. First of all, I cannot tell you how it makes me feel honored that you and your family come to Bob's and eat, because you know everybody and you can eat anywhere else. But when I walk in this place, I kind of feel, I kind of smile because it reminds me of my dad's restaurants in New Jersey. You just walk in and you know it's family owned. You walk in and it smells that way. It just feels that way. So all I'm telling you is you're doing it right, and Campisi is never going to go away.
Yeah.
And how many since 1907?
Well, 1946.
1946.
So we're going on our 80-year anniversary.
80-year anniversary,
Right.
and there's a lot more after 80, I'm sure. Thanks, pal.
Thank you, Bob. Pleasure. Thank you.